important. Anyone listening today, Calvin, is into their health. They're probably doing all the right things, just like you were saying. They're not going to McDonald's 3 times a day and sitting on the couch. So these are the people that are trying and not getting results. So that's why they're reaching for the GLP-1s. Well, most of them have sluggish thyroids. So how are you supporting the thyroid as you are prescribing the GLPs?
Yeah, one of the things with the thyroid is it's the slowing down of it could be actually more so related to an adrenal gland problem. So adrenal insufficiency, adrenal fatigue, right? Whatever the term is, but essentially the adrenals are sort of tapped out, right? They've been working for a long time. Maybe in your life you've dealt with a lot of stress or chronic stress, but kind of, we're all dealing in modern day life. There's a lot of stressors. Things move quickly. Also, constantly in the world, there's always something going on. So that's not helpful. And then also modern day technology, where we have artificial blue lights and fluorescent light, LED, and things like that. Being in the wrong light environment is also stressful to the adrenal glands. It causes the release of cortisol. Having inflammation in the body, right? It will trigger our natural anti-inflammatory mediators, which are steroid hormones, such as cortisol. But testosterone, estrogen, these are sex hormones. These are also called in to help us deal with inflammation as well. And again, seems like anything can trigger inflammation. So I think that for the most part, everybody's living with this, whether you like it or not. We are living in this like slightly inflamed state because we have these stressors and triggers. And so that's going to cause the adrenal glands to have to work harder. Well, our adrenal glands are not designed to be working all the time. That's why they're so tiny. They're tiny little organs that sit on top of the kidneys. You know, we probably should have made it. I'm not going to question God at all, but I would say that just from a short term, simplistic way of thinking it, we probably should have made them just a itty bit bigger, and
Yeah.
so that we can be more robust. But I think the lesson is that we shouldn't be that way. We should find ways to slow down, recover, repair, and live in peace and harmony, right? But anyways, the reality is that we are stressing our adrenals out, and when that happens, they start to become, we'll call it, they become more fatigued or tired. And then now it starts to leverage on the thyroid. And then the thyroid's not a very big organ too, right out of your throat. It's not really supposed to be working all the time and compensate and take over, right? So the thyroid now has to kick up to increase metabolism, because the thyroid hormone affects every single cell. So we're just trying to like overdrive the system, all right? And the body is in that state of overdrive. And that's why we have these hypothyroid. Most of the time, it's hypothyroid is the case. And a lot of times it could be hyperthyroid first, and then it goes to hypothyroid, because what happens is the slowing down of the adrenal glands, slowing down of the ovaries, or more stress there triggers the mechanism, the endocrine system, to cause more release of the signals to create more hormone release. And that will also create more release of the thyroid gland, and then causing higher. In the beginning, the thyroid gland's like, great, we're strong, we're robust, we can release more hormones, all good. And so we might see like this hyperthyroid situation, too high. And then later on, it's like, well, I'm just running and sprinting here, and I can't really sprint anymore. So it starts to slow down. But not only that, then it's like I'm tired. Not only can I sprint, I need to actually just rest. And
Right.
so it goes into a more hypo state. And I would say that 80% of the patients who I treat, when we run labs, we will find that their biomarkers for their thyroid is under, or especially their free T3, the active thyroid hormone, is under a three, 3 point, like three, maybe a two, 0.8 a lot of times. And they're not complaining too much of problems, but there are other symptoms like fatigue and inability to like recover as quickly, or some other hormone challenges, right? We start to see that when your thyroid hormone is not at that optimal state. And then, but I would say a lot of times also they're missing iodine, which we need iodine to make thyroid hormone. But who's eating that much like seafood and seaweed and things that have iodine? So iodine deficiency, I think, is another factor, right? It's another layer on top of that. So again, the non-negotiable thing is in the morning, first thing in the morning, gotta have the Accelerdyne iodine. And then if you have active thyroid issues, then I would say use the accelerated thyroid is another good one with some desiccated thyroid in there and some other constituents to help make thyroid hormone. And that is responsible for metabolism.